should we do a quick module video? You've been very, very patient with my actual play stuff. Let's get back into Foundry modules. I'm going to look at Tile Scroll from Ripper, who is a creator I think has done some fantastic modules. I'm going to be covering, I think, a lot of their modules. This is a very quick one. Tile Scroll replaces parallaxia, if you remember that. Parallaxia broke and then stopped being supported. Ripper stepped up and fixed it. I'm going to show you how it works with a couple of maps. Full disclosure, they're Mad Cartographer maps, and I work with Mad Cartographer. I've just picked these maps because I know the ins and outs of them. So when you have Tile Scroll, any tile that you have, this is a lightning rail track, you are able to add animation effects to. So this is a train track. To show how it works, I'm going to add in a couple of train carriages. That'll do, don't need to do the whole thing. And then the background of this scene isn't a scene background, it's a tile that I've placed on an empty background. I can go to the animation tab, choose to animate it, and you put in the direction, how many degrees it's going to move, and the speed you want it to go at, and if you want that texture to repeat or not, which you normally do. If you're repeating a tile for a scrolling effect, you want it to scroll to something. I click apply, and we suddenly have a speeding train effect. You could adjust the speed, and you can use things like monks if you wanted to change that. I could say, if a train's going into the station and slowing down, we can cycle through all these different speed effects until we eventually are stopped. Though stopping on this particular map doesn't really work because the background effect is blurred. So I would keep that at 5. Doesn't have to just be scrolling, it can also rotate. So we've got a map called the Scribe, set in an enchanted library. In here, we've created a couple, there are 2 different layers of tiles here. Another great module that Ripper has, which kind of folds into the same video, is Tile Sort. If I click over here on Tile Sort, and I go into the overhead layer, it gives you a list of each of the tiles, and you can click into them and you can get all the options you do from there. I find that really useful when I'm building prefabs and I'm layering tiles. Sometimes you need to get to like the 4th tile down, and it's an absolute nightmare to get to. And the number of times I've ended up pulling prefabs apart bit by bit to work on the bottom layer and then reassembled them, this module has absolutely changed my life, and you can hide them from the menu as well. So yeah, I'll unhide those. I'll open one of them up. I think there's 3 tiles on this map. There's 2 tiles for the scroll and books, and there's 1 for the overhead floating canopy lights. But if I go into floating books, you'll see in animation, we don't have scroll ticked, we have rotation ticked. And again, I could choose to go in and drastically, if I wanted to, increase the speed of some of that rotation. This is a module that I think is absolutely fantastic. If you can find background tiles. So I like it for not always just for fast movement, but things like a train, but I have a lot of stuff set in Spelljammer in my games I run and the Astral Plane, and there's a lot to be said for some maps just having a very slight space drift effect in the background. It's really, really cool for ambience, or if you can find assets to do things like this. So, a quick little video. I forgot to even put any music on. I'll have to do that in post-edit. But yeah, I'm going to churn a few of these videos out so we can start getting back to the Foundry content, and I'll speak to you next time.